I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order at 5 p.m. and we'll do roll call.
Let the record show all commissioners are present except for Commissioners Hebert and Kadakia.
So we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I believe we have one special order? None? No. Okay.
Well, there's no special proclamations or presentations, but we do have one public speaker.
Great. So yeah, go ahead and come up.
So Galena Marcus, you have 3 minutes to address the commission.
My name is Galena Marcus. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present today. The city of Encinitas is one of the most vibrant communities in San Diego County and a home for many brilliant community-driven artists. It is a well-known fact across the county thanks to the city's efforts to support and promote its arts and culture. It says a lot that the Commission for the Arts has goals for marketing and audience development and in its master plan. And I also know that you're already working on creating an online directory for local arts organizations. I think that your creative community and constituents are extremely lucky to have that level of support for the cultural scene. But not every city in the county has that, and constituents and artists are not limited geographically to only one place. San Diego County art scene is rich, diverse, and vibrant, and a bit disconnected. I am a local artist myself, and I know it from my own experience and from talking to many artists all over the county. So I took it upon myself to create a platform that can potentially bring us all together. SanDiegoArtDirectory.com is an open online resource where anyone can create an account and submit a listing for their art business, gallery, museum, choir, music band, dance company, call for arts, grants, opening receptions, concerts, workshops, and many, many other things. The sky is the limit. The San Diego Art Directory is designed to bridge the gap between the art community and the general public. As a consumer of arts and culture, I would appreciate having one place where I can find everything by simple search or filtering by location and the topic. And as an artist, I would appreciate having an information about available resources and opportunities at my fingertips. One of the biggest struggles for the artist is promotion, and from my experience of working in marketing for almost 20 years, I know it's a full-time job in itself. In order to thrive, artists need to be seen, they need an audience, and often it means that they have to be in multiple places at once. And not all of those places are good at promotions. San Diego Art Directory can do all of that. But it requires the awareness and the involvement of all of us as well. To make this project successful and work for the good of the whole county, I would like to ask for your support in spreading the word. To make an official recommendation for the cultural organizations affiliated with the city to create their accounts and create their listings. To conduct an email campaign, conduct a direct mail campaign, sending out stickers that they can display in their windows, to have a table at the city events. My goal for this platform for the next 12 months is to fill the directory and become a #1 trusted resource for all things San Diego culture. Thank you.
Thank you, Galena.
So we'll move on. I should say I'm chairing tonight in place of
Yes,
James. Yes.
obviously.
We figured that out.
So we'll move on to the approval, no changes to the agenda. And then we'll move on to the approval of the minutes.
I have a question. I thought someone named Lois Young, the Public Information Officer, was going to be speaking to us tonight.
It was a requested item, not one that we were able to facilitate for this meeting.
Oh, okay. Is there a time she will be able to speak with us?
I don't have a confirmation on that, for that at this time.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there anyone who'd like to approve the minutes from last meeting?
I can move approval of the minutes.
And we'll second that.
Great. So we can move to a vote.
Excuse me? Can I be marked present? I'm late, but I'm wondering. Thank you so much.
All right, let the record show it passes with 5 in support and 1 abstention.
Okay. So we will move on to number 8A, the action item for our annual work plan. And tonight, we'll move through and see if any of the ad hocs or individual commissioners have updates as we go, as normal. So the first, Commissioner Lees, is there an update for the cultural tourism?
I attended the Cultural Tourism Committee meeting, and, well, we have 2 new flyers here. And the unfortunate timing for this meeting and the Cultural Tourism Committee is it's Thursday morning. So by the time I'm seeing all of you and telling you what happened at that meeting, most of the events that people will show up Thursday morning and talk about have already happened.
Right.
But we do have 2 really wonderful events that didn't show up, that haven't happened yet. And October 7th, there are 3 Hawaiian musicians coming over from Hawaii. And if you know Hawaiian music, which I don't, but everybody who does know Hawaiian music really loves these guys. They're terrific. They're coming over here at no cost to do a concert to raise funds for Maui Power. And they're doing a concert on October 7th, and if they sell out the tickets, they're fairly expensive, $75. They're also going to do one that's on Saturday. They'll also do one on Sunday.
Okay.
And they are getting together with the local Hawaiian dance group, who's probably on our new list of groups in Encinitas. And so they're going to have little kids doing Hawaiian dances, which will be real cute. And then La Costa, help me, the junior college, Costa.
Costa?
Miracosta.
Oh.
So sorry. Miracosta is doing a Day of the Dead celebration on Domingo 29, which is October 12th. Saturday, October 29th, 12 to 4 at Miracosta College. And these flyers are just starting to go up all over town, too.
Do you have some PDFs that you might be able to share?
Should I send those to everybody? Maybe I should send those.
Yeah,
Well, I don't actually get them there. All they give me is these.
Yeah, that'd be terrific.
Because there were two events. One, the Oktoberfest, there was something happening out at Olivenhain, and then also something happening at Heritage. So there were things happening during the month, and I was like, Somehow, I don't know how to make this work better. Okay,
Perhaps there could be an update sent to Colette that could come to all of us after the meeting.
okay.
And Kathleen, is that Hawaiian concert at La Paloma?
Yes,
Yes. Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
So we'll move on to arts advocacy. And is there an update from the ad hoc as far as researching funding for any opportunities to support city arts programs?
Sure. Oops. I'm just creating a list, a spreadsheet, and it's just kind of growing. And so I think what will be helpful is to have a scope or a direction of what to look for. And of course, I'm a musically minded person, so I gravitate toward the musical stuff. But it'd be helpful at some point to maybe we can have a little bit of clarity what to look for. But in the meantime, my lists that I've been looking on the National Endowment for the Arts, there's a link I have, grants for arts projects, and there's sub-granting, there's a lot here, but you have to do a little digging, and you have to know what you're looking for. So this is just, like I said, that's my stash of sites that when we have more like clarity what we're going to be looking for, like for the Pacific View, then can like whittle it down. There's also Solfeggio. I found 10 music education grants, and of course, well, there's a bunch here like Kinder Morgan, National Endowment for the Arts again. There's things for concerts. There's things for chamber music players. There's broadcasting music. So there's something, we don't know what we can use in the future. Fender music. This one's called Mockingbird Foundation. So anyway, there's a lot to, and ASCAP. Another site I found is North County Philanthropy Council. So that's pretty close by, and we can look at that, serving the North County. There's also a big site, California Grant Watch, and this one I've seen again, it's pretty, you have to do a lot of digging. One that I found is called Instrumental, but it requires a login, and I think you have to pay for it because it says try for 14 days free. But I didn't get into that. I saw on here grants for community centers by state, like the Andrew Mellon Foundation. Another one I found here is really long, but it's the music instrument grants for individuals. And there's just a lot. So if you were looking for different types of instruments, like Mr. Holland's Opus and so forth. And then there's grants.gov, but that one you got to really sit down and dig through it. So
I think it's great.
that's my little pile of grants.
But,
I just have a quick note on that. So for the grants.gov, this is because
You talk a little bit more.
of my background in looking for grants through grants.gov. There's something called the Founders Grant, which is actually, and I can send you information about that. I was digging a little bit a couple of weeks back for this, and then I got very sidetracked with life. But it's basically for teachers and small companies that, the Founders Grant is meant for anybody that has a small setup. And it's a $200K non-dilutive grant given by, I believe, San Diego or it's a state grant, I'm not sure. So that is something that I have on my agenda to look for. That's the only thing I had for.
Shall we make like a joint, shall we have like a spreadsheet maybe we can share together?
Sure.
Since we're on the ad hoc.
Sure,
you know?
sure. So I have one more thing also that I had made notes for, and I can share that.
Yeah.
If it's a shareable Google Doc,
Mhm.
maybe you can send that out, and then we can keep adding things.
I just made a spreadsheet.
But you can make that into a Google Doc,
Sure.
and then just make it shareable.
Okay. And then we could just add
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, and then you'll be able to see who added when,
Mhm.
what happened, and it's just a link, easy to share.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I do Google all the time.
Okay. Yeah.
It's my best friend.
exactly. Yeah. Okay. Thank
How
you.
exciting to
Is-
have all these resources that we didn't even know to tap into.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's
Thank you very much, both of you.
Okay. So we'll move on with assisting the city staff with American Arts Economic Prosperity Report, which I believe Colette has an update for.
Yes, thank you. The results are available. They have been embargoed until October 12th, at which time they will be released. There is a national kickoff scheduled for October 12th from 2 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Registration is required, but it is free. It's being hosted by Rita Moreno. And I made a short link to make it easier, and I can also send it out to you, but it's bit.ly/AEP6-national. So that'll give you if you're interested, that'll give you an insight into what's happened nationally. And then once I get our results, so the city of Encinitas as well as the county of San Diego, I will send that out. There is a countywide event being planned for January. And once those details are firmed up, I'll share that information with you as well. But it's going to be really exciting to have new data. We've been functioning with the really informative data from AEP5, which was in 2017. And it's so valuable to show how investing in the arts comes back through economic means by not just what arts organizations spend on their staff and so forth, but what the public spends in ancillary events, going to the grocery store, eating out, or stopping at the gas station, and what those dollars contribute back into a community.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, that would be great to send both of those links out. Okay, number 5, assist with the promotion of city arts and culture events. I know you had said that you wanted to send a link as far as organizations online that we could tap into to promote events. Did that go out?
It hasn't. It requires just a teeny bit of organization on the front end to make sure we know who's doing what. So if I would so appreciate if there was any group that was interested in doing that, and then we can get it organized so that because you're going to be spending the time to do this, we'd hate to have 2 commissioners spending their time putting the same event in with the same public calendar. So just kind of finding a way to divide it up so that there is no duplication of work.
Is there a single commissioner that wants to start in on that work, so at least it could get started in on? Not presently, or?
It's the kind of project that you could spend 15 minutes a month, you could spend 2 hours. It's not a predefined sized project. It could be very little bits of time or as much as any one or more of you had to contribute. But it does a great deal to help further
Okay.
our events out in the community.
Right. Looks like Commissioner, Kadikas wants to take that on.
Okay, I can reach out to you with what there is, and then you can let me know what works.
I just want to clarify, so I can do this online? Okay,
Mhm.
because it's very hard.
Yeah, this is
Okay,
one of
great.
those projects that it just has to be done ahead of whenever the event is. But other than that, there's no specific time of day. You just do it. A lot of it doesn't even require a login. Some things do require a login, but it's just so that you can then get in and access the events in case you had to update it or change it. So yeah, it's a good one for someone who has a busy schedule and maybe has to do a lot of work during the day, because again, 5 minutes here and there. Thank you.
Fantastic. So moving on to public art, are there any updates there?
Yes. The deadline has passed for the sculpture pad. We have received 30 applications from 18 different artists. We are in the process of putting together the panel of jurors, and it will be, we haven't assigned an ad hoc for this yet. So if there are up to 3 commissioners who would be interested in being on that panel, as long as there is no conflict of interest, meaning someone in your immediate family or any other perceived conflict of interest who has submitted an application. And then there will be 5 members from the community, 1 from each of the unique communities within Encinitas. So once we get all of those, I have 2 more that we're just getting firmed up. We're waiting on their confirmation. And then we'll set about aligning all the many schedules to find one common time to jury those applications.
Just for clarification, last meeting, you mentioned the date of October 17th.
That's for the visual art.
That's for the visual,
Mhm.
okay.
And yeah, I
Thank
haven't
you.
set a date for this one yet. At the time, we still had quite a few vacancies in the panel, a lot of waiting for people to get back to us, so it was too premature to actually set the date for that.
Okay.
Once we get that done, I'd really like to be able to get that juried as soon as schedules permit.
Seeing that there's an open 3 available positions, would any commissioners like to be on that ad hoc?
I would like to be on it.
I'd also like to be on it.
And I would like to be on it. So that's
Okay, that's 3.
I heard Lee's, Fox, and I apologize, I didn't,
Oh. It sounds like there's 4 who would like to be on, and it's limited to 3 for an
it
ad
is
hoc.
limited to 3, and I apologize, I didn't hear who said the third one
Irene had
first.
said the first.
That's okay, I cannot be on it. I cannot be on it. That's fine. You 3 do it.
Are you sure? I'm not able to attend the October 17th. I'm jumping ahead. That's why I was asking. So there is availability for that one, if Vicky, if you'd like to do.
I think I'm already on that.
Oh, okay.
She is, and unfortunately, we've already shared all the information, so it's already out.
Okay.
That's okay. We have ample, we have 3 communities, so there will still be 5 jurors.
Okay.
So no worries.
The information that was shared today required authentication, and even though I double-clicked to receive the authentication code, it never got to me, so I haven't been able to log in.
Okay. Connor or I will connect with you tomorrow. If you could kindly send an email and let us know if you were able to capture a screenshot or anything like that, that'll just help us
Absolutely.
sleuth out what the challenge is and get that resolved for you.
So,
Okay.
excuse me, are you discussing the October 17th one now? Or,
We didn't mean to jump ahead, but
My apologies.
we did a little bit. We're going to backtrack.
okay, because
Okay,
I said I could be here October 17th, but I have just found out that a vacation we're taking has been extended and I won't be here that day.
Okay. Well, let's jump back into public art, and then we'll put a pin in that one for just a moment. So for the public art sculpture ad hoc, if I heard correctly, it is Abraham, Campbell, and Fox. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then El Portal continues to be in fabrication. We are still tentatively looking at an installation date of March. I will be releasing a RFQ for the installation shortly, and then a few factors, weather and whatnot, but we are looking at spring, and it's coming together quite nicely.
Is there any time we could have a preview of what they're doing?
I can check and see if it's possible to get some images. It would be information only.
That's fine.
Jeremy and Campana have both been posting pictures. If you follow Germ Right and if you follow Campana,
Oh,
they
okay.
post progress pictures.
Okay, so any more updates for public art, or is that good to go?
My report is
Okay.
complete.
So we'll move on to visual art. The Art Night Encinitas was a huge success. So for that ad hoc, are there any updates, or we can leave comments for the commissioners' reports?
Well,
Go ahead.
I had one comment. I was at the City Hall site, which I thought was very well attended and really great visual art show there. I did want to mention that the artists thought that the music was a little loud for conversation in City Hall, the music that was outside. And I've heard that before from artists at that site, that they're always saying that they can't really talk to people because especially if the music is amplified, it gets so loud. So that's one comment I heard.
Thank you for sharing. Supervisor Roberts is going to share some information about the upcoming Art Night on November 18th.
Our next art night will be the Art Mart, and we've invited all exhibitors from the previous this year who have already exhibited to come back. There'll be a grand display in the banquet hall, and we encourage people to come along and try and help them out with some sales. That would be lovely. It's still in the works, so if you guys have got anybody that you can recommend for, we just lost a film screening, so I'm particularly interested in a film screening. Have one other person that is potentially willing to share their film with us here at the City Hall. But the majority of Art Night is almost there for the 18th, but that's what I would love help with if you know anybody.
Have you talked to Ron Ranson about
Ron
his?
is on my list.
Oh, good, okay.
Thanks.
That's kind of a long film, but it's really fun.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, I know this past Art Night had a lot of offerings that were unique and new to Art Night, and that was really exciting to attend and take part in and be affected by. So I applaud everyone who helped that happen. Okay, so moving on. Sorry, I don't have my reading glasses with me. Number 8, this is the visual art selection panel for October 17th. Were there any other questions about that? I know we kind of jumped forward.
That's okay. We're a very flexible group. We can make that work. I have that Commissioners Fox and Lees are unable to attend, and that's okay. And for Commissioner Campbell, I'm going to work with our IT team and get access for you.
So is there room, since there'll only be one member from the commission, is there room for
I need
another-
to confirm if it's possible because we've already shared the materials. So I can get back to you and let you know.
Okay.
I
Thank
will
you.
say I have not opened them yet. I don't know if that matters, but
I don't know, and I'll find out.
okay. The eyes have not been on them.
Yeah, I haven't seen them either, so
Okay.
I'll just delete it. I won't open it.
I will check and let you know.
Okay.
So for number 9, does the ad hoc for the performing arts programs and research have any update?
Sure, yes. So we're gearing up for the piano competition, and we have the gorgeous flyers that we all have here. So it will be launched, and perhaps would you be able to share with us about the link?
All right, so here is the page. And this is where there's a good deal of information. And we worked on getting it into digestible bits so that people can have all of the information, but in a way that, pardon me, that they can find specific answers. We do still need to fill out the bios for the judges, but within here, and we've got some formatting things we still need to work out. And looks like our link is not live just yet, but it will go to, yeah, not just yet. This is just one of many moving parts. So it's going to go to active where the contestant will choose which concerto, they will pay their registration fee and include their video link. And that will be through March 27th. And
that's where they also, they include their video, you just said that, I'm so sorry.
that's okay.
Yeah. The YouTube link.
Yes. So, yeah, this was a really long section. Oops. There we go. So then going into the finalists competition, so those who are selected from the preliminary video performance will be notified. Moving on then to the live finalist competition, then 3 winners selected who will perform in the concert with the North County Symphony Orchestra.
And I see the rubric is in bold. Will that be hyperlinked?
It will be,
Mhm.
yes. And then our Cultural Arts Division email newsletter will be going out this week, and this will be included in that. We do it once a month now. So I've been holding, not sending it out for October so that I could make sure we were able to include this.
Wonderful.
Is there anything you can think of I left out?
So with that, with the flyer, will be a PDF be provided?
Sure, I
for
can
that?
send you a PDF.
Okay. And so, and this link you just shared with us is now officially up from the public's viewpoint?
It is on there. It looks like our links aren't live, so I'll need to find out what happened because I know we got that set up within Active, so it's available. The link is just not connected. I had to walk away from that process to join you all for this meeting, so I expect by tomorrow morning we ought to be able to get that connected properly.
Great.
Certainly ahead of it going out.
I think that we won't see like the registrations being filled like until a little bit later in the year, but there'll be a way from an administrative end to kind of check in to see like how many are coming in and so forth.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
It looks terrific.
And we're also going to put a banner out. Can only be up for 2 weeks, but we're going to put it up as a launch, and then we'll put it out again ahead of the March 27th deadline.
Wait, say that again?
We're going to put a banner up
Oh, a banner.
Mhm.
Yes.
just
Wonderful.
to announce that it's been launched.
Mhm.
They can only be up for 2 weeks, and then we'll put another one up 2 weeks prior to the March 27th deadline.
Okay.
Is
Is
this
there
a physical banner?
Go ahead.
Or
Pardon?
is this a physical banner?
It is.
Like a street?
Mhm.
Great. That's wonderful.
Where will that be?
Right now, it is planned for Leo Mullen, which is the field by Target, and adjacent to the community center. And I will see if we can have one put in some other places, but I need to get the proper permits for other locations.
Now, would it be possible to like put up a couple of the banners like for this month, then take them down? And because if they can only be up at 2 weeks at a time, can you put them back up later, in February, March, or something like that?
I do have it scheduled to go up 2 weeks ahead of the March 27th deadline.
Okay, but you can't put it up for during this month?
It is going to go up now,
Okay,
this week,
got it.
to announce that it's been launched.
Okay.
So 'cause it's a new program. And then it'll have to come down, and then it can go back
Okay.
up closer to the deadline.
Great. All right.
So the QR code is working. The link is live on the QR code, so that's good. I just checked.
I did get to check that before I
Yes.
walked over.
I have a quick question. This is just a happenstance that happened in 2 weeks in a row for me. There were a few people, 2 in my neighborhood and 1 that just knew I was on the commission, came up to me and asked me if there was a band. Like we have like a youth piano concert, there's a band competition. Like a rock
We
band.
ran a band competition at the last art night,
Okay,
and
maybe that's why they asked.
Yeah.
Is there anything else happening this year?
not this year. We can look to bringing it back for another art night next year, and there's also youth slots for the Moonlight Summer concerts available for next year.
Is there something that like a publicity material for that?
Yes, always on our website, and we do flyers.
Okay. I should just look for band.
They might also
Not
look,
specifically.
I was just going to suggest, they might also look to Lucadia 101, who does the Battle of the Bands,
Okay.
and Summer Fun on the 101. I don't have those dates off the top of my head, but those are 2 youth-specific potential opportunities.
I'll look.
Give one more.
Mhm.
The Back to Rock group are heavily invested in getting performance opportunities for their bands also. And I know that they would share that information whether the child's attending classes or not. Yeah. Our Moonlight Summer Sunday concerts.
Good job on everything.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, super exciting. So moving on, number 10, our mission and vision statement for Pacific View needs no update. Number 11, advise on branding for the new Pacific View Art Center. I do have an update for that. I met with Catherine Johnson, who's the founder of SumPig. She's a consultant, a research-based consultant in the industry of branding. And so she agreed to make a presentation to the commission before the end of the year as far as just addressing non-traditional kinds of avenues for branding for Pacific View.
The direction, just as a reminder, the direction we have been given is that there will be no special logo or branding for the center, and that the building will need to follow the city's branding guide. It's It's always exciting to hear new ideas, but I just wanted to make sure.
I shared that guide with her, and that, so I feel like maybe it's a linguistic thing for branding, but there's lots of non-traditional ways to communicate
Of course.
about the Pacific View Art Center and to gauge interest in who the audience is, how they best receive information, how to build curiosity and grow actual investment. So that's what that means to me as far as being on that ad hoc.
And there are some exciting ways to be able to get information out there, so that'll be very helpful.
For sure.
And it sounds too like she might have a lot to share with the Cultural Tourism Committee. She might want to consider speaking to the Cultural Tourism Committee.
I'll share that with her. That's great.
And that would be Mayor Krantz is the head of the Cultural Tourism
Okay.
Committee.
Fantastic.
It is a public meeting, so anyone may attend.
Yeah, she could just attend to see if it's something she thinks she might want to do a presentation.
Great. Yeah, I know she's curious
Thursday
about
morning
being
at
more
9
involved.
o'clock.
So
This Thursday morning, 9 o'clock in the Poinsettia Room.
okay.
So who is, Some Pagan, how is she involved in our city?
She's not involved in our city. She's a private resident of Encinitas, and this is her own company. But she works in the branding industry, and I know her, and so I just reached out to her.
Oh, okay, so she's just volunteering sometimes.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me know if you would like me to meet with you too.
Okay. Fantastic. So that is number 11. 12 has no actionable item. Number 13, review and advise on programming for Pacific View. Any updates there?
There are no updates as far as I know. We're waiting to hear about the, RFPs for teachers, because that's going to be a big part of the programming, obviously, is getting a wide range of teachers of unique topics.
Okay, so number 14 is that research the feasibility of an artist in residency program. We weren't able to meet as an ad hoc, but we have the intention to. I do have an update, but if you have anything to add first, I'm happy to.
Yeah, there's, I don't know how relevant this is, but it's probably, so I'm part of the Indian Classical Dance and Music Group of San Diego and Greater Southern California. From my previous life of being a dancer, it's continuing. But one of the things that they seem to do quite well is they have it's not a residency program, but it's a traveling teachers program. And it's, so teachers from India, they come and they stay at different locations in Southern California, and they have classes, workshops, lectures, things of that sort. But somebody's actually hosting them. And this goes on for like the whole summer. Sometimes it's 2 months, sometimes it's 3 months. But it seems to work really well. And it's been going on for like 20 plus years now. So it's something that I've reached out to the coordinator. I sort of now I don't attend their meetings, but I go to their programs. And I've asked for how they kind of reach out to these teachers, how they get these people to volunteer. So I'm gonna get some feedback from them. But I just think it's an amazing program to get like culture from outside in, and then they work with teachers here, so it sort of is symbiotic. But that's the only update I have.
I think that's great. I think thinking in both the specific and the broad views is really important. And I think that's a great example of potentially even being able to partner with different organizations that already have programs in play, that there may be this facility which could be, those programs may be able to be plugged into eventually. And that, I think, works really well as far as understanding what kind of residency could be offered at Pacific View. So, and that goes well with, I thought, just taking step by step, so just sharing the first step, which is essentially creating a list of different features that such a program could embody, and specific to Pacific View. So I thought I'd go ahead and share that list with you and invite all of your insight, just as a launching off board for then researching similar programs for which we can look at what's been successful and what has not been successful as, just baby steps. So one is obviously that lodging is not offered. And so I don't know what the language around that is. Like, it's an artist in residency that doesn't offer residency. But it's a different, I think of it as a residency because they would be housed as far as their project and their teaching at the Pacific View Center. So if anyone has that word, but I'll go through the whole list and then open it up. So for locals or for those who can provide their own housing, it's education-based. An instructional component would be required to give some instruction at the facility. Community-oriented, open to all disciplines or type of creatives. A potential, again, to partner with existing programs. Flexible durations, which is nice, and an ability to be kind of a city partner or a kind of a community I thinker to address some of the larger issues of Encinitas and beyond.
I noticed that there's two on there. Is there an opening for a third? Is there an opening for the third?
Yes, on the ad hoc. Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if I can join.
Yeah.
I have to leave. I have a little bit of an issue at home with my kids' classes, so I have to leave. But is there any other voting that I hope I'm not disrupting? It's been a hectic day today.
No, I think it's okay. We still have quorum. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So would I be able to join?
Yes, could we add?
Yeah, sure.
Jennifer to
I
that.
have a question about that, about the residency. I've noticed that where I work, there's some unique arrangements that I've observed that I think, oh, well, that looks interesting. I work for the Chula Vista Elementary School District, and they've developed innovation stations, and they've worked out some working relationships with the city of Chula Vista, and as a result, they've created some educational sites. Chula Vista Elementary School District provides the teacher, and then it becomes a built-in field trip for the school district. So the students, they don't have to worry about, all these extra logistics they're doing something that's internal. So I thought that's an interesting model. What would be the prospects as you look for artist residents to, work with the education systems in the area, where they would provide the educator, and then it could be some kind of partnership with, and we get the youth,
Yeah,
something like that.
I think that's, again, another great example of a specific potential partner, or even as a model. And
Yeah.
so,
With the school districts and our 2 school districts that we have in our boundaries right here.
right now, just as far as my own ability to focus on this work, I'm just putting together this one list as far as like questions that, researching programs that could be similar. And then, so I'll add that to the list.
Mhm.
And then be able to reach out to those programs to ask certain questions.
I wanted to make a comment. I think you had a question about whether the artist, whether it's still an artist residency if the artist is not in physical residence, and I would say yes.
Yes.
There are a lot of local, a lot of examples locally of residencies where the artist just goes to a place where they can do work, but they don't necessarily have to sleep there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's just I don't know what word to use to describe that as
Still
a
use residence. It's still
definitely an
used.
artist in residency. I guess my question was I'm trying to make a list of attributes of a program specific to Pacific View potentially, and so one of the attributes would be that it would be a visiting. Like a visiting artist or a visiting artist in residency. Maybe that's the word. I didn't want to say an unhoused residency because that's quite a loaded word these days.
I don't think the residence, I don't think it implies, housing.
Okay, yeah.
I think that a lot of people I think generally people would understand that. I mean, there's there's different kinds of residents. There's medical resident, and I think that there might be already a general understanding. It could be clarified if somebody asked, but,
Good, yeah.
it
Thank you.
seems self-explanatory.
Okay. And then there are certain things that are will not be on offer with this residency, which is not the ability to make like a personal body of work. So as far as just thinking of the general parameters, and yeah, so next steps are to look for similar programs and to reach out to directors and ask questions. Does that sound?
I think how the term, we'd have to have a dictionary to be for sure, but I think it doesn't necessarily mean a place that you're staying. It means that you're in residency for a certain period of time. I think it's more to do work or to contribute or whatever the agreement is that you'll do, but it's a parameter of time.
Yes.
I think that's what it means
Okay.
more than a place to sleep.
Yeah, yeah.
But, we want to make sure that they have a comfortable place to sleep too. But each one, that might be different for each person, because obviously each person, when Lux was doing their residency, they had an apartment
Right.
and a studio where the artist could live and work. But we obviously don't have that to offer.
Right. Yeah, and that's my point, is to just kind of be very clear about what we can and what we cannot offer as a way of moving forward to gather information and make suggestions. So, yeah. Okay. Any other comments there?
Okay, so the next time I will be added on to number 14. Thanks.
I have made that note, yes.
Okay, so number 15, support city arts education programs and, direct potential arts instructors. Are there any updates? That's for all of us.
So city staff that's really been in our department to manage. The existing one is still viable, and making changes to it is what we've been working on. We've overcome a couple of hurdles and have some direction on how we're going to try and accomplish further simplification. But for now, if you do have a teaching artist that is expressing interest in offering an arts program, you can send them directly to Jess, and she can make sure that they get that link to be able to get the existing document until there is a new one available.
And any thoughts on when that will be available?
I don't, because a lot of it's outside my direct control. It's gathering information from other areas and what's possible so that we can then make determinations on how much we can get it simplified and what that'll look like.
So for sending, notices to other artists, which I've been, kind of in my head gathering some people that I think would be good. So with the current applications, would they start then in the Encinitas Community Center? You know, would there be a date or?
So we have
would this work?
been working on developing some programming that can be held at the existing city sites until such time, should there be an opportunity to have it at Pacific View. So if it's something that we have available facility now, that's something that we can look into doing. If it's something that requires facility or materials we don't have, then it might just have to be something that is part of future planning.
Okay, so then the best thing is really just to have them send or communicate with Jess about how to go forward. And
Correct.
okay, great.
Okay, so the last two are non-actionable items, so I believe that wraps up the discussion of our work plan for the evening. We'll move on to 8B, the Pacific View Art Center report from the city.
All right, so it is starting to look a little bit more complete inside as the walls have been filled with insulation and drywall is going up and paint is starting to be applied. And SDG&E is working on getting a new power source over there. The engineering department had originally been scheduled to make a presentation of a construction update on September 27th. That was pushed to October 18th's council meeting. And at that time, council will also be offering some direction on programming.
Okay.
I can also share that the survey is doing well. Please continue to share that with people who you know are interested. They really just need to fill it out once. Duplicating isn't going to get us any further. So just get it wide to anyone who's interested for either adult or children's programming, because we'll continue to collect that data.
Do you have any information about how many completes you've received?
I was just going to say.
Right around 300 when I last looked, which was last week.
And what are you hoping for?
As many as possible, because then it's a reflection of a greater number of interested people.
Mm-hmm.
More than 60,000 people live here, so.
I know.
And that's
I-
just
I do-
Encinitas.
I do want to share, I have a few people who know I'm a commissioner reached out to me to say that they began the survey but found it very intensive as far as length and ability to feel that their answers could be, that they could share exactly what they wanted to share. So I'm just giving that feedback. I'm just
Sure. So
Sharing that,
if you
yeah.
answer all questions, so
Mhm.
that means you have both an adult and a child interested in art programming. It's about 5 or 6 minutes to complete it. There isn't really a short way to do it and actually gather meaningful information at this point. We could have really made it very generic, but then that wasn't going to give us the information that we started off looking for.
Mhm.
If you only have one or the other, it's about half that amount of time. So I can totally appreciate in a busy life that it feels really overwhelming, but that investment of 5 or 6 minutes will give us really good information. As far as not feeling like the data collected, if I understood what you're saying, that the data collected would be, was it meaningful or?
I want to use positive language. I'm thinking.
Sure.
It was expressed that it felt a little bit boxed in.
Well, remember, it is, because as a reminder, we started off with council's direction to generate programming that operated within permissible uses. So we started with that larger bucket of what the site itself was zoned for. And then using existing buildings, that narrowed that down even more to permissible uses. And then we have occupancy, which kind of narrowed things a little bit more.
It wasn't, I think we're getting off on the wrong track there. It wasn't about being boxed into what was on offer. It was more
Oh,
about
I misunderstood.
the experience of taking the survey. But I don't know how helpful that is at this point.
Maybe I could add a comment about my experience. I was talking to people at Art Night about filling out the survey, and actually I was surprised how interested people seemed. And so perhaps this is just one person's reaction, and, you know, that you'll still get some meaningful responses.
I've
Well,
heard
and-
the same thing, that it didn't seem like they were looking for in-depth answers, that it seemed pretty generic, was the comment that was made to me.
Well, part of what you can offer
I
as
thought it was pretty
commissioners
good.
is,
It seemed to me like it was asking certainly asked a lot of questions. It's hard to tell exactly where we're going to go until you start getting answers to some basic questions.
I do think that there's an element of excitement in filling out the survey, and that I've also heard, especially at Art Night, just as far as the tapping the general enthusiasm that exists in the community for this creative center. And so I think seeing some of the specifics that were on offer made it that much more real to people, and I think that's a huge benefit. And so there are many ways of gathering information also, and so it's a good first step.
I think anything we do to make people aware of the fact that something's happening at Pacific View and to get community engagement, that's anything we do that does that, I think, is important and a step forward.
Yeah.
Because it's been in the works for so long, it's dropped off the radar for most people, I think. So, good job. I thought it was a good survey.
well, if you do hear some feedback, I apologize, I misunderstood what you were saying about the boxed in. But that is something that we did hear a little bit about at Art Night, and it just required sharing that information about how those categories within those different things were reached. And it was that starting with the larger zoning down to working within existing buildings and all of that. So we did get down to a pretty narrower group of potential arts education offerings. And once they had that information, it was, oh, okay, I get it. And so that's a bit of the advocacy piece that as commissioners, if you hear some of that, you can help share that, because they might not know that if they hadn't been attending all of the meetings all along that got us to this place.
Because that information has always, the zoning and the capacity has always been a part of what we can do at Pacific View, considerations.
Since
But
we were
it
given
has
direction,
been-
correct.
It has been off everybody's radar for so long, not everybody would remember that.
Right,
Because as you said, not everybody stayed that involved with it.
correct.
So, yeah, I thought it was a good survey.
So thank them for their time, because it is. I mean, that can feel like a long time, and I do appreciate with so many busy schedules, but it's worth it, because then whatever availability, the initial plan had been to potentially have a soft opening. I'm not quite sure what direction that's going to take, but the information could help inform decisions around that.
I have a comment about, I distributed as many as I could, you know, and, but I think that it took the patrons' time, you know, they were sitting down on the chairs and working really hard at it, and so it took the time away from, you know, enjoying the time, and then a couple people gave it back, and then, oh, this is too long, you know, so I was just wondering, and, well, we had the QR code available. I was wondering if, like, the next Art Night, that maybe there can be instead of the stacks of the packets, like little cards with the QR codes. Because some people, they were like, oh, well, and then there was kind of a little, it was easier for them. Or they were like, well, can I do this later? And so they
Which
felt,
they can.
they felt like, well, with the papers, they felt like it was like a test, like they had to turn in the test, you know. But with the, like, if they were given a little card that had a QR code, they could put it, you know, they could do it later on.
Yeah, we had the posters up. So we're just trying to limit the amount of paper and, you know, so we had the posters up that had the codes all over.
Yeah.
This survey will close on November 6th, so we won't have it at the next art night. But we will continue to come up with ways to make sure people have access to both the digital and the paper.
Is there a link on the Encinitas Gov website, actually, for the survey?
There is.
Actually, you shared a flyer. You had shared a flyer that had the link and a
Oh,
QR
great.
code.
Oops. So this link, if you go to encinitasca.gov/arts, it's a short link for this longer one that you see here. And right there at the top of the page is the survey.
And I actually just got a text, Commissioner Abert is listening
great.
in, and he shared that there was some good coverage today in the Union Tribune online about
Oh,
Pacific View
lovely.
and the survey specifically. So that's awesome.
Lovely. I hadn't seen that yet. I'll look for it.
Yep.
Has,
I did have a
Oh.
question as far, sorry.
Go ahead.
Is it possible to have, with the meeting, for the Pacific View planning, the programming meeting many months ago, there's a man in the Department of Developmental Services who was talking about capacity, room capacity, and his name is Ali Sadre. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Is it possible to invite him to one of our meetings so that he can go through? I started to try to work out room capacity, but I'm quite curious to have the whole commission hear what I heard during that meeting.
And we have received some additional information. I would say we should probably wait for what comes of the October 18th meeting and then be able to ask some additional questions. I know that occupancy is determined by a number of things, among them number of restrooms, number of parking places. There's other factors as well. So we did look into, it is currently business occupancy, which is smaller than assembly occupancy. And I don't have the exact numbers, but in order for occupancy to be changed at that site, 2 of the things that are required involve adding additional restrooms and parking spaces. There's a few other things, but those are the biggies.
Okay, cool.
I was looking at, I receive automatically once a week this notification of the events calendar that the city's paying, that the city has, sends, I think it sends out to anybody who's signed up to receive it directly. And I noticed it did not have the survey on it, or at least I couldn't find it.
It has been on, I think that it's not going to be on the city's main email newsletter every week, but it was on for several weeks in a row. And then it was on the Cultural Arts Division email that went out in September, and it'll be the one that goes out again now in October. And we are sharing it at all of the city events, so it'll be continued to be out there. And then looking at all of you as being advocates and cheerleaders for getting it to people you know who are interested in the arts.
Colette,
Could you
when
send it to each of us? Because I do have a mailing list I can send it to, but I'm not really good on the computer for knowing how to get it from somewhere else. But if you send it to me, then I can
are you
forward
talking
it.
about the flyer?
The information about how to go on this, or how to do the survey online.
Do you want me to resend it? I sent it to all of you when it first was released, but I can resend it so it pops to the top of your email.
Okay, yeah, that would be wonderful.
And I had a question about, with that was said about the newspaper. Has the survey been put in some of the local newspapers like The Advocate and,
We did not have budget for any kind of advertising.
Okay.
I have a question when you were talking about room occupancy at Pacific View, and you mentioned business.
It's a
What-
it's a category of it's a type of occupancy that dictates a certain number of people per square feet based on. I'm very much generalizing right now.
But is there some movement to have businesses at the center? Is
It's
that-
just the name of it. It has nothing to do with whether it is a business or not. It's just what it's called.
It's based in there's a building code
Correct.
that designates how to calculate the occupancy of different rooms depending on how they're used and what the zoning is.
As well as the other available parts, like I was saying. And I'm very much generalizing. This is not my area of expertise. I'm sharing information that I received about what it would require currently to change that occupancy model. So it has nothing to do with having a business or not having that's just what it's called.
So maybe what
Thank
it
you.
means is if you're having a conference,
It's literally just the name of something.
it's different than if you're having a classroom.
It relates to how many people can be in a room. So business is a smaller number. And for example, assembly is a larger number. And assembly is the name of one and business is the name of one. Without necessarily dictating that it must be a business or it must be an assembly. It's just what they're called.
And-
This is what I've run into with, it's public talk or people who run public entities. They have their own language that they speak, and it's not necessarily meant to be understood by the public, I think.
The current
They all know what
occupancy
they're
is
talking
smaller
about.
than other potentially available occupancies that would require actions that are not currently in the budget nor in the current scope of work for the construction renovation
Understood.
project.
And
It's a little confusing as a layperson.
I'm trying to simplify it even more. The current occupancy is one that permits no more than 18 people in any of the rooms. Some of them are smaller. And in order to enlarge that occupancy, it requires additional restrooms and additional parking places, among some other things. And those items are not currently in the project's scope of work.
So in other words, it's
Yeah.
kind of like an algorithm of,
It's part of building code.
yeah.
thank
So-
you. So, and just to reiterate what I heard earlier, City Council meeting October 18th is going to be giving some direction about programming.
That is my understanding.
Okay. So it may behoove us to attend that meeting.
Yes.
Okay. So
Are
does
we-
that wrap up the update for Pacific View?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to informational items. Colette, number 9A, Cultural Arts Division Report.
We have covered pretty much everything through different reports on the work plan. I just wanted to give you a quick update on the requested item. There's a future agenda item requested at your last meeting for updated information on the theater pad that is over by Stater Brothers and Target. And that is going to need to be set for a future meeting. It requires me gathering data from not within my department, so it's not information I have. I need to go gather it. And it is not available in time for this meeting. I don't know at what future meeting, but I will continue to work on that. And then Music by the Sea kicks off November 3rd. So tickets have gone on sale. The first concert is on Friday the 3rd, and they will continue on consecutive months through June. And this season, we are collaborating with the San Diego Music Society and Artistic Director Paul Sang. and I think it's going to be a spectacular season. So share with any classical music lovers who would enjoy. Ticket prices did not go up from last year. We held them, including I think the season pass is the same as well. Single tickets are $20, $25 at the door, and students are only $10.
Very good. Okay, so that was also the commission calendar, and we do not have.
I'll just share really quick about Dia de los Muertos. So this is the second year that the city and the library collaborated. The Ofrenda has been there for a number of years, I think since 2014. And last year, because it was so popular and there had been a desire to have some additional programming, and the Friends of the Library were very generous in helping to fund it, and it was incredibly successful. The librarians commented on how many people were there, not just guests that they were accustomed to seeing, but new guests coming in and experiencing. So that always makes people happy. So then this year, the Friends of the Arts said, we love what happened. We want more next year. So now here we are, second annual mini celebration at the library. And it will feature even more of what was happening last year. Different kinds of art projects. We will have a mariachi as well as a ballet folklorico performance, and lots of free things for people to enjoy and celebrate this cultural tradition.
Fantastic. I'm assuming it's age, it says all ages.
All ages.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, I don't believe we have a commission member-initiated agenda item tonight. Is there any commissioner who'd like to add a future agenda item tonight? Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll just give this a shot. I wrote this out so I don't babble. I wanted to suggest an agenda, and we can talk about it as a body here, for next meeting and subsequent. I'd like to open a discussion to discuss about the master art plan that is on the website. And I was looking around and I found it, and then I printed it, and I'm like, whoa, very big document. I downloaded it and printed it out, and I've been looking it over. The plan was adopted in July of 2002, so it's 21 years old. And I thought it would be nice to explore the document as a body for a few reasons. First of all, I thought it would be advantageous to examine the document to see how far we have come as an arts commission and arts society in Encinitas since its inception of 2002.
Pardon me, just a point of order.
Yeah.
I can share a little bit of information about this, and then if there is an agenda item you'd like to suggest, you certainly can. This was something that was on the work plan for prior commissions as recently as last year, and there were some updates made, and then it was just not a priority for this year. With so many other things to work on, doesn't mean it's not important. It just means you can only do so many things in a year. So just sharing that information.
Okay, so it's already been out there, huh?
It's been on the agenda
So
since
just-
I've been on
so-
the commission.
Right, if
we
you'd like to
can't really-
suggest at this point, because it's not an agendized item, we
can't really
really discuss.
Talk about it right
No,
now.
I was going
But
to,
if you would like to suggest an agenda item.
that's what I'm doing.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm suggesting to add it, and I was just giving my reasons and to ask what you thought about that, because my reasons are that it is aged is 21 years old, and so my reasons is that, if I could just continue what I was saying, is that as I was looking at it, because I'm a curriculum specialist, I noticed that it's very well made. it resembles a curriculum in a sense. It has the first page with the assumption and the vision and the goals. There's 7 goals. There's outlined objectives. There's a historical section. There's an inventory of the time during that time back then in 2021. And there was the planning itself. Yes?
Sorry, Jennifer. I think
Okay.
that this item, number 11 for future agenda items, it's really just suggesting like a sentence, like just the topic, and then we can decide as a commission if that can go on. It's
Okay.
not really, this isn't the means to be able to add information, even if it's not a discussion, even for one of us to share that much
Okay.
thought, even as much as it's interesting.
So I just want to suggest if it can be looked at.
So is there, with future agenda items, is there a consensus of 2 or more commissioners who would like to put this on the agenda for next month?
Could you summarize exactly what the item would be? I mean, in one sentence.
In one sentence. Okay. I wanted to suggest to add it to the, as an agenda to explore the document, to see where we are as an arts society, how we've come from since then in 2021, and not suggesting immediately about updating, but through discussion, we'll see how we're going on the continuum of it. And it was, when it was written long ago, there were a lot of people involved. So just wanted to throw that out there.
So is there,
Colette, if this is on our agenda, then can we discuss the process that we've already worked through with this?
If it is put on a future agenda, you may discuss it at that time.
Okay, okay. Well, then I would vote for it because it's obviously something we need to explain, the history of it.
There's a lot of work has gone into this previously.
Which we could discuss when it's on the
Next time.
agenda.
right?
Right.
Okay, so there's Commissioner Lee's expressed consensus
So I guess
with Jennifer
I'm
Markovitz.
seconding her
Is there a
motion.
second? Or is there another person?
We just say consensus of 2 or more.
Oh,
and
to
we
two.
have that.
So
Okay.
you got
So we
consensus.
have
You're-
it.
you're
Okay,
good.
so we will have that on next month's agenda.
Okay.
Great. I'll just say as sub-chair tonight, sometimes things can feel a little bit harsh, but just a way of keeping to city rules as far as what we're able to discuss as a body at different times during our meeting. So that's cool. It's on the next agenda for the next month, and then we'll get into it. So number 12, commissioners' reports. Does anyone have a report?
No report.
No report. Okay. Well, I guess my report is just that it's been a successful meeting and moving forward, and I'm excited for next month as well. With that, I will adjourn tonight's meeting at 5:24.
6:24.
6:24. Thank you. Yeah.
No, I didn't bring any of them. These are the ones the cities put out.
Oh, there's like other.
Yeah, the Dia de los Muertos, and those I picked up at the tourism committee meeting.
When you were talking about the beautiful flyers, I was like, oh. And then I saw you had a